can look at the base, and then I'm going to share my screen. Oh, that's not the one. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Right. Is that visible?
Yes.
Cool. Now in this area with everybody's names, I've got Mike D, myself, Dave, Megan, Tim, Allison, James Fairbairn, Jim Lewis, Keith DeLune, and Rouge. Did I miss anybody so far? Okay, cool. So managing, Jim sent me that we have $11,500 in the bank. There's a budget that went to the board, and when we know more about that, I'm sure we will let you know. Yeah, but we did budget for a fringe show if we get one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Any questions for management?
Did you say that some amount of money went to the board?
No, I said a budget went to the board.
Oh, I
Unless I
gotcha.
like my brain.
All right. I was just like, what? All right, the budget, yes.
I did say that. Okay, Salsa's here. Cool. I did say that I sent a budget to the board, and I did say that we did budget money for a fringe show should we get one.
Okay.
All right. So artistic. Fearless Lab yesterday was a really good show. It was a ton of fun. Some of the folks at the meeting were able to be there. The payoff for donations that Eric Thompson set up with the mousetrap scene was a lot of fun. So thank you to Eric and James Fairbairn and Duck Washington for helping with that, because they did some really good work. And then Eric James is going to be taking over running labs starting with January lab. So if you are interested, talk to him. And he can get you booked. Otherwise, I know that there's one performer booked for January lab, but beyond that, there's a lot of space. So if you got crazy ideas, whatever, make sure that you talk to Eric. Any questions about lab? All right. So Fearless 5 time auditions are next week. Directors and scripts have been paired up, so we directors have been looking over stuff and getting ready to get those going. That's really about it for updates, other than we have the same venue, and Rouge Estera is going to be stage managing again. I don't know if that was officially announced, but Rouge was wonderful last year, and really glad to have Rouge back. Any questions?
Tentatively excited for it.
That is exactly how a stage manager would probably answer. If you've been involved in a Fearless 5 before, you know like how much work it is, and being the stage manager that has to like wrangle all the cats of everybody, like 5 directors and a cast of actors, and it's a lot. And it was certainly a hell of a crucible to throw somebody in for their first stage management gig, and Rouge did a really great job, and super, super happy to have Rouge back. So
And
Yeah,
I'm
unless,
really excited to see we have 2 actors who were in Fearless 5 last year have signed up to audition again this year. So that is also good.
yeah.
I have who's working your doors and what area are you having the auditions at? This is just as the person who's currently doing a show in that theater.
Yes. So, we don't have anybody chosen for that yet.
I think.
I'm actually doing the door.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jim, step forward.
Oh, okay.
And
and-
Frin, go ahead, Jason.
And the venue is the Mounds.
Yeah. So what I'm saying though is that so you guys could use the stage would be the easiest, because we still have our tech stuff set up in the other area. So I guess I wanted to be vocal with whoever is going to be there. I know you would probably, I don't know who's all going to be there at the auditions, but just as the person who's running the other show, be very mindful of our space since
Don't
there's
touch your stuff.
show going on. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, just probably don't plan on being where, because I'm not going to be able to, unless you talk to us and you want that space so we can get our tech stuff out of that area near the fireplace. I just want to make sure we're having this conversation because no one has talked to using the space. So.
Yeah, I will gladly set up a couple of the tall cabaret tables so it's very clear that don't go back there. And then if we can use the stage, and we'll just tell everybody to not touch the walls or anything.
Sounds good.
Cool. And yes, I will be there because I'll be directing one of the shows. Cool. Any other Fearless 5 stuff? All right. So just going to mention that we're going to be putting in for Fringe, and Jim Lewis is going to be officially the one that signs up. And then should Jim Lewis's ball get pulled, it's going to go to Fearless, and then we'll do a Fringe show. Jim, I see your camera is on.
Yep.
Has there been like a hard decision made, because I can't remember, about what size and if more than one size is what we're applying for?
I'll probably do the 3 for $75 because we've normally done the 2 for $60. So $15 more for getting another chance at a venue sort of makes sense. You know, when it's $90, that's a bigger difference. So.
Yep. Sounds great. All right. Any questions about Fringe? Any pitches? Somebody just got something like ready to go in case their ball gets pulled. All right. Moving on. Fearless Fest. Start thinking about ideas that you might want to perform or things that you might want to volunteer for. If you were a department head for something for Fearless Fest last year, we're going to be asking you if you're interested in doing that again this year. And if you're not, that's totally okay. And if you are, great. We would love to have somebody back that helped run the event very well last year. Other than that, we have dates at the Phoenix, and I forgot to look up what those were again. Hold on. I will amend the notes to get those dates on there. But I know it is basically the same time. It's like late March.
The notes I have previously said that it's the first weekend of April.
That sounds correct.
Yeah, I have
we always
the 7th.
Okay. Right. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, we always try to do as close to April 1st as possible for our fundraising weekend in the spring. You said 5th through the 7th?
The 5th is the Friday.
Yep. All right. So yeah, any particular questions or anything about Fearless Fest? See in the chat. Yes, Jim, you need to write Ready Man in Mime. You're real about that show. Okay. All right. After that, we if there's no questions about Fearless Fest, marketing. Salsa, you are the person I see from the marketing department, unless I'm missing someone.
You are missing someone. I mentioned this before, but I am stepping back into the marketing position since we don't have someone, and I don't want to let Fearless 5 kind of fall through the cracks. And so I've reached out to Chris Rodriguez about some art for Fearless 5, and I'm going to be the one basically spearheading the marketing for that and for other things going forward for as long as I have to, basically.
Any questions about that? Really excited to have somebody focused on that, especially since marketing head is something that we've been lacking for a while. So it's great. And I think Fearless 5 is one of the things that gets us noticed and gets people talking about us. So getting people to notice and talk about us is probably a good idea, which is the whole point of marketing. So great. All right. Any parking lot stuff? Okay. I have a parking lot then. So I am going to be stepping down as artistic director effective immediately. I've talked to the board about this, and I've talked to Eric Thompson about this. And I wrote a thing because I'm also going to email this out. Yeah, okay.
It's okay, Jason. We're all here for you.
Mhm. Yep.
We know this is tough. Yeah, you don't need to read it. You'll post it, you'll send it out.
Mhm.
You know, I said before when you announced that, well, that you were eventually going to be moving on from the position, that, you know, you got us through the hardest time for local theater in the world, pandemic time. Uh, Many theater companies just folded then, and we did not. You were very fearless in leading the company through very tough times. Um, and, you know, I'm glad that you were able to tell us when you basically needed to tap out. You know, sometimes you're in that fight and you know that you just gotta tap out for a bit, right? Um, so as Jason said, I'm gonna be taking over as an interim artistic director. Uh, the the company shall go on. I'm going to be doing things as being I'm president of the board. I'm doing marketing. I'm also interim artistic director. There's a lot of things that the company kind of needs to do as the next steps. I'm going to be looking at our budget, how much we're spending monthly, looking at sustainability from a financial perspective because, well, we can't keep spending more money than we're taking in. And there's a lot of company disengagement. And, well, I'm going to see what I could do to turn things around. The rest of the staff is staying on, and so there's Jason is also going to be directing, and he's still very much a company member, and it's going to be very active, and we're going to need him going forward. I've talked to Eric about some ways maybe we could reimagine our spring fundraising show, and I don't have anything specific to report on that, but I'm putting out feelers for a couple different ideas. Things that, well, the Phoenix and having our traditional fundraising there, it costs a lot to fundraise there. And we're going to be looking at cutting costs and things, among other things. Well, yeah, Megan says we should burn it all down. Well, as interim, I'm not going to burn things down, but I'm going to attempt to rebuild. Much like the Bionic Man, build better, stronger, faster. We'll see what we could do. I would say, like I said, I'm going to look at our schedule. I had briefly looked at the option of maybe still doing a spring show, but it's really just too tight to fit it in, especially to give enough time between that and our spring fundraiser. But I should have more to report on ideas for the spring fundraiser changes, as well as different ideas for our monthlies, definitely before the next company meeting. But that's the main stuff I guess I have to report on all that. And, well, I could take questions if people have questions, and Jason can also take questions.
Eating. Somebody's gonna be like, I tried to come 30 minutes late. There's just nobody there.
I mean, I can add something if you want.
Do you have something, Mike?
I do, actually.
All right.
No, I was just going to say that as of right now, I think we talked about this last meeting that I wasn't able to be at, but we're going to be doing the big fat quiz, and I believe February is what we're slated for.
I think that's correct.
Which means the next 2 months is going to be a madhouse in my household here, between writing that, directing, and then my wife running for city council. So I'm busy as heck, but I was just going to say I'm going to be putting out stuff in the community page or in our group for that. Yeah, so stay tuned with that. And then actually, whoever, Dave or Eric, I will probably want to talk to you some more about the future of Big Fat Quiz after that. So, but being that we're talking about ideas, I just thought I'd mention that. And yes, I am going to humble brag about my wife, because as my joke always goes, she does important things for the community, and I write dick jokes. So.
Jim had a question.
You gotta play to your strengths, Mike. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. So it just the two wolves inside of you sort of dichotomy thing going on in this house.
And Mike, I'm very interested in participating again if you're looking for help.
All right, awesome. Yeah, like I said, I'm probably just going to put out a more hey, here's a Google Doc to express interest. So it's more for my sanity than anything. So I remember who the hell all said something.
Yeah.
So.
Jim, you had something you raised your hand about.
Yes. We are looking, and I'm working with Dave and artistic team and all the staff, but to actually look to do hybrid meetings in the new year, where we're meeting in person somewhere, plus having a virtual element. Technology's moved a lot since we last tried this in we did do the one meeting, I think last year, or the year before, but to actually do a meeting in person, because I think the energy is higher when we're doing that. But we still want the hybrid because there are people that it's just too far of a travel at times to do that type of thing. And so we'll be leveraging the hybrid, the Zoom meeting part of it to try to include everybody. So just wanted to bring that up to people. So, because I miss a lot. I love seeing your faces, but I still miss seeing you in person. So.
But how will Allison play with her cats while we're in a meeting?
It's a hybrid meeting. She can still play with her cats.
Yeah, she could still be virtual and playing with her cats.
You just put the camera on the cats.
All right. I'll put the camera on Maisie.
You could come to the meeting and the cats could join remotely.
One of the things that I missed most about the meeting shifting from Tim's living room to an actual venue, no offense to Tim's living room, was that we didn't have like just three cats roaming around just like choosing us, and one decided to, like, when one picked you and was like, yes, you can pet me, you felt like anointed.
You had been blessed by the cat.
And like I always get picked because I'm allergic to cats and I love them and they like sense it.
So to go to this point, we're still looking to do, what it is we're looking at possibly moving to the 4th week of the month and doing the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday rotation like we did before. And that way we're not completing with a Tuesday show for Fearless or Writer's Room. So that's part of it. So we can hopefully have that and on that as well, because I want to make sure that we're doing all the week, making sure people can at least once every 3 months make a meeting, if not more often. So.
Makes sense. I have a question that I should have asked earlier and I didn't.
Sure.
What is the budget that's listed in the bank? Is that after give to the max, or is that including give? Is that all inclusive current what's in the bank?
That's what's in the bank. We just got the matching money. So it has not it just went through PayPal. So I need to move that over to the bank. So it's about 12,000 on that point. And then we're still waiting for money from the Mounds for our shows. So.
What was the
Wait, which shows are you waiting for money for?
For the Mounds, I believe, as far as I know, for the spring show and for Fearless 5 last year, I don't have money from the Mounds for those 2 shows.
Huh.
I thought it was just a spring one. Okay. Well,
I've got a breakdown of the spring one, but I have nothing for Fearless 5. So, and of course, I started my leave of absence too. So, I don't know. May have got lost somewhere, but we haven't received the money yet. So.
Okay. Yeah, I had reached out to Alex and or Jess. Well, Jess actually. Reach out. Yeah, y'all are connected on Facebook. But yeah, check in about that. Cool. Anything
What's
else?
the budget for Fearless 5 then?
Oh, so it's approximately the same as last year. I don't have it right in front of me. Hold on.
Was it like 3 to 5K? Yeah.
It is not much increase from last year. Let me pull it up unless somebody else has it, or do you have
That
it right there,
should be
Jim?
about right, is what you're saying there, from what I remember. 3 to 5K.
And how much would the rental for the Phoenix be?
For the spring fundraiser?
The spring fundraiser, I want to say it's $13,500 for the weekend. $1,350, I believe, is where it's at. And normally that's their weekly rate, but that we sort of cram a week's worth of stuff in a shorter time. But we might be able to talk to them if we're not going 50 hours straight through. So we might be able to do some negotiation there. But yeah, normally that's what we've got, or has been.
Okay. I am trying to be my traditional Megan self of being the bearer of bad news, but based on my very, very limited theater math, that means we would be very close to bankrupt this year if we do a fringe show and don't get a lot of money from the fundraiser.
If we don't get we could be very close to that. Yes, it's possible. Again, we still would have some money in the bank from what I know, and what I've looked at for the budgeting. So, but yeah, we do need to make, probably a good $10,000 at the spring fundraiser.
Yeah, 10,000 profit, Jim, or 10,000 overall?
I think 10,000 overall it would be the minimum. Yeah.
Megan.
And how much is salary? I mean, people who know me, who've talked to me outside of staff and board, know that this is where my mind is already. I'm just very concerned, given the staff monthly payout as well, and then these other costs that we have. Financially, I am very concerned by the end of the year, there is going to be very little money left, unless the fundraiser goes very well. And I find it difficult when there's a fundraiser, when there's nothing to fundraise for, which then puts us in a catch-22 situation where we don't have the money to fund another show. And I know this is a bad time with Jason, but I mean, I just realistically want to look whoever is taking over, that's why my burning it to the ground conversation is not funny jokes, haha. It's realistic, looking at the current rate of spending and our current income it's not good.
Yeah, that's why I said my focus, and this is all very new. This all happened pretty quickly, but my focus will be sustainability. I need to look at what our expenses are, things like even paying for a storage unit. I think that we started that when we were storing up stuff with the thought of eventually getting a theater. I think that maybe needs to be reapproached. I think a lot of things need to be reapproached. I think we need to look at all of our staff, how much they cost, how much are they contributing to the company. While I'm doing both artistic director and marketing, I'm not going to take in any money because I don't need any money. I'm just going to do my best to keep the company going. But yeah, as you point out, Give to the Max money was much lower than we had in the past, and with a lot of member disengagement, I don't think a Fearless Fest in the traditional format that we've done it, or even in the Die Laughing format, I don't know if that's sustainable, because we would need a bunch of company members to be actively engaged, or to even just be in the audience, or to even just donate some money, which did not happen at Give to the Max. So yes, Megan, I will be looking at all that stuff, and trying to cut costs and trying to do things that I think make sense. I'll keep you updated as it goes.
Okay. And like I said, I know, to be transparent with people, I've been I am the nihilistic person that gets talked to because I will be frank with people. So I have expressed my opinions, I feel like, pretty well to the board and the staff in the past. If people want help, I will gladly help because I do believe in the company. But right now, it's very hard to be optimistic. Or, yeah, to be blunt, it's very hard to be optimistic.
And I understand that. Like the fact that we are trying to keep a comedy nonprofit live theater and whatever else we think of doing company afloat, like, it's insane. Thankfully, we're insane. And you're right. We do need to like figure out how to make it sustainable. We need to figure out all of the ways that we need to plug the holes that are making things not work as well as they should. And honestly, I think that takes a logistical mind that is like way, way broader, bigger, better scope than mine. Or robots. Dave goes,
I'm not blaming anyone in the company.
No. And like, I'm not trying to assign blame to myself about this. What I'm saying is like, yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. And those are problems that we have with the company, and we've talked about other ones that we've had. I am with you, Megan, and I know you believe in the company. Like, you wouldn't get so fucking angry about shit if you weren't believing in the company. So, Dave, anybody else on staff? If you need help with stuff, let me know.
Oh, we will.
And then, Megan, specifically, did you want to, like, talk about specific things that you think we need to cut costs on? Or things that we should eliminate?
I mean, I think my personal opinion, I think I've expressed this before, is that I think we need to take a pause, and then this sounds dumb, but I really think like an all-day summit, even if we just like use the mounds for a day and literally had, I'm not even just saying staff, like whoever really feels like they have a vested interest of trying to make the company work, agree to meet for like a day and try to talk through stuff. I think that might find out who our real stakeholders are and who are willing to put the time into the company. Because as Dave said, like, we're really not, we have a bunch of people who no longer, I feel like, are invested in the company, which is fine. Like, everyone's on their own journey. That's fine. But we need to figure out who we can use as a backbone, kind of, or help us support the company, and then use those resources to try to come up with a new path. Whether those are paid roles, unpaid roles, whatever, but I really think having like some sort of like quote unquote, like a summit-y type thing or something would be kind of beneficial to try to figure out what's the best path that can actually be supported by the people we have, versus, no offense again to everyone, but versus like the staff or the board saying we're gonna do this and then not having the buy-in of the people that they need to really do that idea. Like everyone's saying, it's great to have a fundraiser or something, but like Dave said, like if we don't have the buy-in of people to do that, it's pointless then. If you have people who are miserable or don't want to do it or can't do it, then what's the point of doing it then? So that would be kind of my recommendation of really is trying to get back to like a center to see who's. It still comes down to me burning it down, but maybe less violently. Trying to get some like core people involved.
I mean, can I ask I guess this is gonna sound like a mean question, but I'm gonna ask it in the spirit of Megan. Being that we have the point system, I guess what is the repercussions of not hitting that? I mean, there's people on there who, we're sitting at the end of the year and there's no mathematical way they're making that. What are the repercussions of being disconnected?
So, as someone who's not in charge of this anymore, let me answer that question. First, anybody that is within their first calendar year, like not calendar, but like in the year that they joined, we're not going to be really harsh about the points. We're still going to track them and compare them to whatever rate you should be at, and then talk to you at the end of the year and let you know. For those that don't hit that points marker this year, my suggestion was that we talk to everybody and say, hey, next year, we need you more engaged. We need you to, at the very least, beat this points total, whatever it is. And then also have that conversation with people, and maybe some people will just drop out and say, you know what, right, I'm not engaged in the company, whatever. We are not looking to remove anyone from the company for an inadequate point total at this point.
Okay.
But it's super useful to have that metric, and I'm very glad that we did it, because it shows in a tangible way that is tracked and recorded just who's involved and did what.
No,
we try to hit like literally everything. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just asked because I was involved in another theater company that had a similar problem where 3/4 of the people just stopped engaging when things got tough, and it just created more problems, and we, but to Megan's point, yeah, we do need to kind of like sit down and have kind of a summit to keep this thing afloat. And also, I know I'm new, but I'm willing to step in and do things without any sort of like, payments or anything like that. I'm not even concerned about that, because I also believe in this company. I've been wanting to be part of this company for a while, and now that I am, I'm like, I can't lose another one.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Mike. Yeah. Any other questions about points or what Mike just brought up?
We're towards the end of the year. Is there any way we can see like how many company members we have as of December 13th and how many of them haven't reached that 50 point mark? Just in a straight numbers.
As I understand it, we just like keep the point sheet open to members, so you can just look yourself up, because otherwise it'd probably be a lot of people checking or wondering about that. But I'm pretty sure we have posted that in company stuff previously. Also, so people can double check stuff. Which I know I check it because it's part of my job, but is there anyone else in this meeting that knows that they have checked it themselves and that I'm not crazy and we've done this? Cool. And can you see everyone?
Yes.
So, I don't have this open in front of me right now, Rouge, but I will drop the link for it so you can look at it.
Oh, you're the best.
If you shucks. Yeah, it might take a minute, but while I'm, waiting for my computer to be entered over to this update, is there any other questions?
If possible, I know we can only pin like 3 posts on the Facebook group. Is it possible to include the link to the spreadsheet in one of those pinned posts? So it's really, really easy to find all of the time.
That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, I think that's certainly something we can do. I imagine someone will do it.
I'm is going to be just shy of meeting it too.
Yeah, and
No, but I know I'm in my first year, but
yeah, and also in conversations I had with Eric, this was the first year we tried it, so we knew there would have to be some calibration. And one thing we were discussing was keeping the point levels for doing things at about the same level, and seeing if 40 wouldn't be a more reasonable mark. So I know that was discussed, and yeah. Unfortunately, Eric isn't here. However, in the chat is the link to the point spreadsheet if you want to see where you're at. And yeah.
Jason, sorry, quick circle back. What do you have the February? Do you have the date handy for the what date we're doing the big fat quiz in February? I just realized the date.
Yeah, give me a second. And then also, I will note about the point sheet. We are a little bit behind getting things on it, but we've been keeping track, and we have things listed so we can put them on there soon. So double blind's the first Tuesday, so February 6th.
I have to point out, according to the Mound calendar, that's Tech Week for Fearless 5.
Okay.
So,
well, we have had.
Do we have to push it to March, which I'm fine doing if we need to?
We have options. We have had times where one of the directors have not been able to be there at during Tech Week for one of the nights for Fearless 5 and kind of switched around a little bit. So I think that's workable. I would message Eric Thompson about that because he's officially the producer, and he's also the producer for the double feature. But I imagine that's something we can work out, Mike.
Okay, I'm gonna just message him now just to think about it while I'm thinking about it. So
yeah, no worries. And then yeah, let him know. Cool. And Salsa says every single member has access through the website. So if you haven't talked to Salsa and done all the logon stuff, please do. Cool. Anything else? All right. Sounds like that is it. If you have any questions, I guess let Dave know. And yeah. Thank you, everyone. I'll be around, and I'm excited to direct for Fearless 5. So, bye.
Thank you, Jason.
You, Jason.
Hi.
Oh boy.
Well, it did.
So you gave them like 1 second of blue skies and jetpacks and
It's
hopes and
important. You need to know the stage.
I can figure out clocks counting down and fast.
Do you want to tell the story?
No, you're doing
Because
fine.
if you think you can tell the story better, I would absolutely love to hear you try.
Wow, really?
Really?
Oh, I guess technically I am more qualified.
Are you? How so?
Because unlike you, I'm an optimist.
Ready to film me?
Okay, go ahead, sweetie.
What do you think, Casey?
Serious. That's Canopus. That's Nocturus. Hydrocantarus. Vega. Procyon. Capella. Betelgeuse.
Why do you love the stars so much, Casey?
Because I want to go there.
They're so far away.
It'll take a long time. It'll be a long time. But you can get all the way up there. What if there's
Oh boy.
What?
You're gonna go through your entire